All right, let's now bring in former senior advisor for President George W. Bush and Fox News contributor, Karl Rove. Always great to have you on the program with us. Thank you so much for being here from Milwaukee, Karl. Let's talk about
you bet.
Former President Trump and his pick of J.D. Vance for vice president. The ticket is one that many people are supporting, but as we've described, people are already trying to tear J.D. Vance down. Is this going to be a pair that American people can connect with?
Yeah. Well, look, first of all, this ought to be seen by the Trump campaign as an opportunity, because they're going to pay attention to him, and how he handles himself in the next several days is going to be important. He's very articulate, and he's got a big opportunity here. Yes, he said lots of ugly things in 2015 and 2016 about Donald Trump, but that gives him a chance. It's the point that was just made. Authenticity and clarity and honesty matter. So if he says, yeah, I said those things, and you know what? Donald Trump convinced me to have a different attitude about him, and he did so by doing X, Y, and Z. That is a very powerful way to handle the issue. And the American people the Democrats are going to make a mistake believing that the American people are going to give them support based on what J.D. Vance said 4 years ago, when he's willing to say, I made a mistake and I got a different opinion today.
Donald Trump thinks J.D. Vance can help him in the Midwest, the upper Midwest. That's my home territory, Karl. My first thought with J.D. Vance is he is going to appeal to those rural voters, especially younger rural voters who feel like nobody listens to them. What do you think?
Well, political scientists have studied this, and they've come to the conclusion. There's a great little book on this called Do Running Mates Matter? And what they have found is that maybe since at least maybe 1960, no vice presidential candidate has brought a ticket a state it wouldn't otherwise win. They've also found there's no durable effect over the course of a campaign with a candidate attracting a subgroup of the electorate. For example, the Democrats nominate a woman in 1984. It doesn't dramatically increase their support among women. But what does matter is, what does that candidate do, that vice presidential candidate do, to advance two things. One is, and most important of all, the view of the leader of the ticket as being a strong and effective leader. Ronald Reagan says, I'm going to pick a guy who is my principal opponent, who was ambassador to the UN, ambassador to China, director of the Central Intelligence Agency, a respected member of Congress, a successful guy in the energy business. And what happens is Reagan's numbers for competence and leadership rise, because people say strong leader picks a strong running mate. Similarly, if you are, say, John McCain in 2008, and you pick Sarah Palin, and people say, I'm disappointed with the choice, it has an impact upon their numbers for the confidence in the leadership ability of the candidate, namely in that year, John McCain. So what matters here is what he does to advance the overall message of the ticket and how that reflects upon Donald Trump. But vice presidents do not settle elections. Let me just tell you, they can lose you elections, they can hurt you, but they can't win it for you, because people are focused on the guy at the top. So how Vance conducts himself in a way that reflects upon Donald Trump is going to be the key thing.
I want to talk about some of the latest polling we have out. This one from NBC saying that only 1/3 of Democratic voters are satisfied with Biden. This is polling in this election cycle that I'm not sure we've ever seen it so bad for the incumbent. Sort of as a strategist, a big thinker kind of guy, how do you look at this and think if the Democrats have a way to win in November?
Well, I don't think they can win with Joe Biden. I think the only way is to find a way for him to say, I'm not running, and to replace him at the Democratic convention in August, and hope to God that that gives him a shot. You know, we had a Fox poll that came out this weekend. It got ignored because of the events of Saturday night, but it had 3 questions in there that were very interesting. They said, basically, do you think Joe Biden has the mental fitness and the physical stamina to be president? No. Overwhelmingly no. I think the number was 71%. Do you think that he is involved, that his mental health hurts the national security of the United States? Absolutely yes. Do you think he's involved in decision making? 63% said only somewhat or not at all. Those are 3 devastating questions with incredibly bad numbers for Joe Biden, and I frankly can't see how he can recover from the kind of sentiment that is out there. It's not new, and it's only been made worse by the events of the last couple of weeks. President Trump has been seen as the stronger of the two men for over a year. And then on Saturday night, in that iconic moment, when he struggles to his feet, pushes his way through a scrum of Secret Service agents in order to, with blood flowing down his face, raise a fist as an act of defiance and reassurance to the crowd. You saw how the crowd reacted that evening. You saw how the crowd reacted last night when he came into.
It was unbelievable, Karl.